What is anxiety?
Anxiety is a feeling, sick feeling in the gut area. And that sick feeling, it's an emotional thing, it's a feeling. It's just a precursor, it's just as a result of constant firing of the vagus nerve. That is anxiety, it's a feeling.
Why does anxiety happen then?
Anxiety happens as a result of worry. Unnecessary worry, whether I will succeed or not succeed. That is when anxiety happens. And the reason for worry basically is fear of not succeeding. Fear of not succeeding. Okay? So fear comes into play. So fear, worry leads to anxiety.
How to get over of this circle of fear, worry? It's a cycle,
Yeah.
right? Fear, worry, and anxiety. Can you talk about that a little?
Okay. So fear is something which is instilled into us. Basically, it's a survival instinct. Okay. That is why fear is there, and it's a good thing to have that much of fear. Okay. For don't call that fear, call it survival instinct. Fear is when you feel that you may not succeed, you may fail, or there might be an adversity, or there might be a block. You have a fear of that. That is why many times people don't execute and decide, should I execute this? Should I not execute? Should I do this? Should I not do this? Will I fail or will I succeed?
And
Because of fear. And that is why, because of this conflicts going on, there are actually, every time you think, every time you have these feelings, there is an electrical discharge which goes through the nerves. And this is confusing because at the moment you're saying, okay, I may succeed. In no moment you say, I may fail. So you're giving two signals, conflicting signals, which is when it comes in clashes in the gut area, that is when you start getting anxious. How to overcome?
Then fear, then anxious, then the cycle goes on with stress.
Yeah, because body tries to compensate this anxiousness. Body tries to compensate this stress. It does. Okay? It goes on. This is an automatic system which is in our system. But every system gets tired. If we are going to work, we want to sleep, we need rest. Similarly, the stress compensating mechanism also gets tired. So you need to give rest. You need to get the energies back. And what are the different methods of getting the energy back? Food, sleep, breathing, taking a break, doing some things like meditation and yoga and whatever people talk about, because we don't do that. But I'm just telling you, these are all the methods to rejuvenate yourself, and then you come back to action again. That's when anxiety will not be there. Anxiety is as a result of persistent stress, persistent worry. Only then you become anxious. And if you continue with that, do you know what's going to happen? That leads to acidity. Then now the actual physical changes start happening. Till now it was only emotional changes, physical changes. And this gastritis could change to gastric ulcers. That's the worst state. And it can go further. It can also become malignant, or it can become a cancer. This is the worst possible thing. So this is what I want to tell you.
So what is the relationship between fear, anxiety, stress and thinking?
What happens is, you want to do something and then you have to think. Because without thinking and analysis and all that, you cannot plan. So you start thinking process. But then because you don't know how to do it, you don't have the skill set to do that, you don't have the knowledge to do that, and you're attempting something which you don't know how to do. Okay? That is when fear comes into play. Will I succeed or not succeed? The knowledge is not there, but you're trying to do it. That is when fear comes in. And when that fear comes in and it continues this fluctuation, that's when worry comes in. And then worry comes in, it will start leading to anxiousness. So thinking is something which you should do when it's absolutely necessary. Don't keep thinking, because you need to give rest to the thinking process also.
So thinking is both a positive thing and it can also harm you. It's more of a double-edged sword, right?
Well, see, it is the way you look at it. Thinking is something very good which we have, but we need to do it when we need it. When we plan, when we organize, when we execute, when we create blueprints. That's the time to think. But what is happening is we are unnecessarily thinking all the time. We're unnecessarily thinking all the time. So think when it is necessary is the key.
what about thoughtlessness?
Okay. You can become, there's two things. Remember, perception is there. When you feel something, somebody touches you and you feel that's not thinking. Somebody touches you and you feel that yes, somebody has touched me, that's perception. Okay. Thinking is when you do that analytical thinking of how to execute and what to do. Okay. So all the time, everybody thinks, how is it possible to stop thinking? Everybody's thinking all the time, thinking all the time. So they do not know how not to think. And they say there are so many methods. Probably I will come to this thoughtless state when I meditate for 10 years, 12 years, or I do this form of exercise, that form of exercise. No. You can come into a thoughtless state now if you want to. All you need to do is take your awareness, which is in your head, down to your heart. This is where the duality is, yes and no. The moment you come to the heart, it is either yes or no. And when you start dwelling in the heart, and when you listen to me now, can you see that you become empty? Your head has become quiet? Because I said something truthful, how to stop thinking. In fact, you will be thoughtless at this moment. You'll have no thoughts and there'll be a silence just now. It's that quick. That's how it happens. All you need is take your hand from here to here, to here, to here, and put your hand there if you don't know how to focus in the heart. That's a simple mechanical step. There's a lot more to it. So just a simple demonstration of what happens. This is the thoughtless state.
So when whatever you told me, I feel that all of this is dependent on one another very key trait of ours, which is decision making, right? Which so would you like to talk about that? That how life or our stress or anxiety is all dependent on our individual decision making abilities.
Yes, again, only when you come into the heart can you independently decide and can you take initiative independently. See, taking initiative independently is required so that you're not dependent on anybody. But I would like to talk this topic in the next video. I think this is more than enough.